Good afternoon. I have a whole folder here of boring administrator remarks that someone prepared for me, which I'm going to set aside and try to be a little bit more brief. These professorships were created for the purpose of rewarding excellence in research and in making a contribution to the future. The other goal behind these professorships is to recruit and retain world-class talent in order that Michigan State University can continue to be a world-class university. The professorships are sponsored by a collaboration of three entities. One is the MSU Foundation, which Dave represents. The other is the Provost's office, and the third is my office. And each of these awards are carefully scrutinized. And if you look at the group of foundation professors on campus, I think the number must be something like 30 by now, is that right? It's really one of the most elite groups of faculty that we have here and that you would find at any university. Now, as far as excellence in research, you're going to hear quite a bit about that from other speakers in a moment. As far as the competitiveness issue, I want to remark that we recruited Professor Jiang away from another great university, the University of Wisconsin. And although Wisconsin faces its own challenges, some of you may know, Madison is a lovely town, and it's always been extremely hard to pry people out of Madison. It took quite a lot of effort to get Jiming out of Madison and here, but we're extremely happy that we've gotten him here, and already I'm hearing all kinds of things about the dynamic collaborations that he started with lots of MSU faculty. I just want to offer one anecdote before I finish. So Doug Gage, who works with me very closely on these recruitments, GI2 recruitments or Global Impact Initiative recruitments, of which he is one, especially with the senior hires where there's typically a pretty big financial commitment on the part of the university, we meet with all of the candidates to make sure, just do one final sanity check. I might not know very much about plant science or horticulture, but I feel it's my responsibility to at least meet with the candidate and just get a feel for that person before we make the final decision to go ahead. And the thing that I will always remember about Professor Jiang is that a story he told us about how when he was just a young professor, he's a kind of researcher, he's known as somebody who can bridge the gap between really complicated abstract things that are done in the laboratory and real applied things that are done in the field by real farmers and agriculturalists. He's the kind of guy who can bridge that gap. And he told us a story about how when he was a young professor, he used to work out in the fields, and somehow through the state, maybe it was the state of Wisconsin, he would get help in the form of convicts. Am I right? Prisoners, people who are actually in prison were asked to work with him on some projects. And he was very proud that despite English being only his second language and quite different from his native language, maybe it's even his third, I don't know, maybe he speaks Zhejianhua, but he was very proud that he could use profanity in English as well as any of those convicts. And although he did demonstrate to us in my office, I think he won't do that today. But in private, I encourage you to ask him to demonstrate his special talent. So let me just finish there.